Hi everyone. Welcome to Lunch Hour Lessons with Allison. I'm Allison Mädl, and today is November 14th, 2018. Every Wednesday at 12:30, I come to you live to introduce a topic that I think is interesting and give you a lesson to take with you into your daily life. If you have questions or like what you hear during the show, be sure to comment or like this video. Right after the broadcast, I'll be posting a transcript of this lesson on my blog at allisonmadel.com. This week's topic is when yogurt isn't a health food. So most of us know that yogurt is really good for our health. It's an ancient food that's nourished people for centuries, and it's seen as a health food, and it's given to children in their lunches and eaten in most households around the world. Even it's an international food. But there's probably more of a range of healthy to unhealthy yogurt than almost any other food that's out there. There's three factors that I'll discuss today that can make yogurt not as healthy as it could be. And that is added sugar, lactose, and thickeners. So let's take added sugar first. We talked about the health concerns associated with added sugar last week, and talked about how for adults, the upper range of what we'd want to see added sugar daily consumption is about 36 grams a day. And for children, it's about 12 grams a day. So let's just take an example, not to pick on any particular brand, but let's just say Yoplait strawberry yogurt. That's kind of a quintessential yogurt. I remember eating it by the tub when I was a kid. That has 19 grams of sugar per 6-ounce container. And usually the ones that we take for our lunch are in little, pear-shaped containers. So that has 19 grams of sugar, and that's one serving. And so that we can see that that's already more than what a child would be wanting to consume in a whole day, which would be that 12 grams of sugar. So some yogurts are great. They don't have very many ingredients. They don't have any added sugar, and others can be more like candy. In fact, I think a lot of the yogurt manufacturers are thinking more like frozen yogurt places, and you'll even see in the grocery stores little packs on top of yogurts that have Snickers and M&Ms and things that you can mix into your yogurt. But usually frozen yogurt is seen as something we would eat occasionally or like a treat. But these are something that's now being included in our just boxed lunches, almost sometimes, every day. And because they're there, we think, well, it's yogurt, it must be healthy. So that would be on the spectrum of definitely one of the worst kinds. But last week we talked about reading labels for sugar. So if you don't see a name for sugar, like it doesn't say sugar or one of the other words for sugar listed in the actual ingredients of a yogurt, but let's say you see 10 grams of sugar listed in the nutrition facts. So that may be a little confusing. Does it list sugar? So why does it say that there's sugar in the nutrition facts? Well, that's because it's a naturally present sugar. And this brings us to our second reason why yogurt may not be a health food for some people. There are people who don't digest even the natural sugars in yogurt very well. And that's something, even yogurt, milk, cream, ice cream, soft cheeses, all of those contain a sugar called lactose. And we talk about people having lactose intolerance. And so we can tune into the idea that lactose is a sugar because of the ending of the word. It ends in OSE or ose. And sugars usually end in ose. So think of glucose, fructose, mannose, amylose, all of those are sugars. And so if a sugar, here's kind of like where the lesson comes in, if a sugar is not a simple sugar like glucose, which is totally a monosugar, it's broken down to its smallest part, if it's not one of those, then it needs enzymes to break apart those bonds and have it be digested. So some people don't produce enough of an enzyme called lactase to help them break down the sugar lactose in the milk, because lactose is a double sugar, so it needs to be broken apart. So that's the second reason why yogurt might not be a health food for some people. And third, besides the sugar, the added sugar, and then the natural sugar of the lactose, there's also a lot of added sugar, a lot of thickeners that are sometimes added to yogurt. And these can range from relatively harmless, like guar gum or pectin or gelatin, to some of the ones that have actually been implicated in digestive issues like carrageenan, or carrageenan is probably one of the worst thickeners that would be added to yogurt and other foods. Some others fall in the middle, more like xanthan gum and milk protein concentrate. Those are usually best be avoided, but they're not, horrible. So the point is that yogurt can have a really creamy texture. It doesn't need all those added thickeners. And every time we can reduce food to kind of its simplest components, that's always going to be better. So to end today's lesson, it is possible to make yogurt actually at home that has a good texture. It doesn't have any lactose in it, so it doesn't even have any natural sugars in it. So it's good for people with lactose intolerance. And it doesn't have any added sugar. And it really tastes good. And I've taught a lot of people to make this kind of yogurt. So this is going to be the subject of my lunch hour lesson number 4, which is not next week. Next week, we're going to talk briefly about enzymes. I mentioned lactase, and we'll talk about what enzymes do, and that's going to be next week. So that's all the time we have for today. Be sure to tell a friend this week's lunch hour lesson, which is, just because it's called yogurt doesn't mean that it's a health food. Again, just because it's called yogurt doesn't mean that it's a health food. I invite you to like my page to get the weekend tip that I give on Saturday mornings that actually goes with this broadcast today. Gives you a little action step for the weekend. And also let me know what future topic you might want me to talk about. So that's it for now. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.